Call to order the June 24th, 2020 Dartmouth Veterans Advisory Board Committee. And I'll just do a quick roll call. We have our Veteran Service Officer, Matt Bruyette here. We have members Joe Toomey, Peter Fusco, Jim Tooley, and Norm Gunderson. I am Chris Pereira, the chair of the Veterans Advisory Board. I want to welcome in anybody who's watching on live stream or will be watching the recording later. If we could stand for the pledge and also for our moment of silent prayer after the pledge as well. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now please join me in a moment of silent prayer for all of our departed board members, as well as all of Dartmouth veterans. Thank you. All right. So I sent out previous meeting minutes, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion made to approve and a second. Do we have any discussion on the motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Nope.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Treasurer's report. We want to first, our treasurer for the last 2 or 3 years was Joanne Avalon. She did a great job as a treasurer and board member. She has decided to not continue, with the board. She obviously has a lot of things going on, and all good things must come to an end at some point. So we'll miss her. We wish her luck, and we thank you for all of her service to the town, to our board, and to our veterans. So for the treasurer's report, it was sent out, latest copy, I believe it was last week, and it was attached to the email that I sent out to the board members in preparation for this meeting. Did anybody have any questions or anything that they needed in regards to that?
Well, I wasn't able to see it because for some reason the email, when it comes up on my screen, the report is sideways.
Well, when you print it out, it comes out, but I can give you the information if that's okay, Chris.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I mean, this is the way it comes sideways. I'm sorry about that.
No, but when you print it out, it comes out okay. But
Well, I don't have a printer.
okay, so the balance as of 30 January of 2020 was $8,215.89. The balance as of 31 May is $10,482.76. So we had, during the time between January 30th and May 31st, we had revenues of $4,120.07, and we had expenses of $3,208.48. Now, I'm not sure, Matt, I'm not sure what those purchases were. I know some of the revenues, because Matt has sent us out, were donations as well as people buying bricks. But as far as the purchases of the $3,208.48, I'm not sure what they were, to be honest with you.
I mean, I don't recall either. I know one of them, I think, was we took funds out to pay the Parks Department for putting up the banners.
Okay.
And then you got that money put back, but it's going to be on the next month's budget. It's just going to be a transfer over from accounting.
So are there line items to show exactly what everything was spent on?
No, I don't see it here on the budget.
No, not on this report, but you know what, Norm? We can get, we'll get a copy of that so we can see it. And then I know we took in some more donations recently, like in the past couple of weeks, so that'll be reflected on the next report. But we can get a list of the, line item details so, we can see it.
I mean, $3,000 is a lot of money. We haven't bought anything.
No, my guess is that they were catching up, and it's going to be like they were catching up to reflect. Matt knows they do the accounting there a little bit differently than what we're kind of accustomed to. Sometimes when he gets the report, so when I'll make that inquiry as well.
That would be nice for whoever the next treasurer is to get that. So when we see that we've had expenses, we can see.
Right. But, purchases aren't made without your authorization. So, I mean, I apologize for not keeping track of it, but, yeah.
Yeah, we'll track down the line item detail and.
I mean, the good news is we're up almost $2,000 from January 30th. So we have had some revenue come in, which is really good.
Right, and I assume it's going to be more just because a payment went out for the Parks Department, and then now it will go back in. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Thanks, Jim. And any other further discussion on the treasurer's report? All right, thank you. We'll get right into the chair report. Want to thank, kind of dovetail into our discussion regarding our funds. I want to thank the town residents for all of their generosity. As we included in the past, and we did it this past year, we included a little slip in there asking for donations when town residents receive their excise tax bills. And as usual, the town residents were extremely generous. So a lot of that, revenue that we saw come in since, January is due to the generosity of the town residents. And that supports all of the programs that, we help, and most certainly the upkeep and creation of any new town, memorials and monuments for our veterans. So a big thank you to all of the town residents, as they've always come through for our veterans and our board. So thank you again. I also wanted to just touch briefly on the Memorial Day ceremony and a little follow-up. Want to thank everybody that was able to be there. I know it was obviously a little different without the Memorial Day parade, and so we had our Memorial Day ceremony outside over at the Elm Street Cemetery by the flagpole and memorial, and we had a really good turnout considering everything, so I want to thank everybody that was able to take part in the ceremony, and everybody that was able to, attend the ceremony as guests. So thank you to everybody, and also thank you specifically to the couple of the other veterans groups in town, so the VFW and the American Legion, for having their own ceremony over at the bridge, and then coming and taking part in our ceremony. So that means a lot, and it's great to know that our veteran groups work well together, and that they continue to serve our veterans even through some of the challenging times that we've had. So thanks again to all the board members, to Matt, and all of the other veterans groups. Just wanted to update everybody. I'd sent you an email with a copy of a prospective new member's letter of interest for the select board. He is a Dartmouth resident and Army veteran, Robert Mullewald, and he the letter has been forwarded over to the select board, and they it looks like they're going to take it up at an upcoming meeting in July, and at this point there's really nothing else that's needed from us or from Robert. So looks like we'll be adding a new member to our board, which is great. And I don't have anything others specific to add to new members, other than that I've chatted with an additional prospective member, and possibly another one who may be looking to join our board in the summer or early fall. So that's.
Does he have a financial background?
I was looking for a good treasurer, right?
For treasurer, yeah.
We'll ask. We'll look into that. Then I did want to touch upon our memorials kind of in general, I was chatting with our vice chair, Norm, a couple to 3 weeks back, and they all are in pretty good, shape, but there are maybe 2 or 3 that could, need a little TLC, a little landscaping, a little care. So I've started to kind of go around town and check them out. I'm almost done, and when I finish, I'm going to shoot the board an email, and maybe we can have a little cleanup morning or whatnot, and go out and help, spruce up the memorials. I know the local Knights of Columbus Council has helped in the past, and I know they are willing to again as well. So maybe we can dovetail it with some of their help and whatnot. But as soon as I'm kind of done reviewing, each of the memorials and kind of the shape they're in, I'll pass it along to the board.
I do have a question, Chris.
Sure.
I sent in my information on that signed piece of paper and put it in the mailbox at the town hall to re-up for another year of the VAB. But we usually have to take an oath and put up our hand with the clerk, but the town hall's been closed. Are they gonna have a specific date for us to all come in and do that, or is there a certain date after which we can go in there and take that oath of office to renew our membership to the VAB?
Yeah, it's a good question. With everything going on around the pandemic and the town hall being closed, I don't think any of the board members have received anything. So my kind of expectation, if you will, is that once the town hall is open, that they will reach out to everybody that needs to go in and take their oaths, because we just had a town election, yesterday too. So those folks will be needing to do that as well. And then we can either make an appointment, or they'll have like a designated time. And then that way we can go in and take our oath. And then if anybody needs to re-up some of their ethics training, they can get that information there as well.
Now, does somebody in our meeting here tonight know or heard that the select board already had the meeting where they reinstate everyone that sends in their papers for the VAB membership?
I do not. I did see that on the select board agenda for their last meeting, that was an agenda item, but I don't believe their meeting minutes have been published yet. So I don't know if it happened for our group yet.
All right.
I think I received the acknowledgement. I think I received the letter.
Yeah, we just haven't done the oath yet. That's really the big.
They usually send out a letter reminding you that you have to come in and take your oath before you can vote. So I'm assuming that because of COVID-19, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but this particular meeting tonight, even though we're past the June 1st or June 30th, not 30th, but June 1st deadline to get our paperwork in, that we can still vote tonight legitimately, even though we haven't taken our oath yet, because it's probably been prolonged and extended, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we would have received word from the town clerk or the select board's office if we were not able to do so, because it's not, obviously it's not anybody's fault that we haven't been able to go in yet. We can't go into a building that's closed, so yeah, that's the expectation and the understanding.
And then when the guy that has his letter submitted to the select board to be a new member of our group gets a confirmation from them that they recognize him,
Put Joe on.
when do we get him signed in to the board?
Well, he'll get approved at an upcoming, we anticipate he'll get approved by the select board at an upcoming meeting. And then once he does that, he'll have to go through the same thing that we do. So he'll go to town hall, he'll take an oath, and then he'll be able to show up at our next meeting in September.
All right, I'll wait. The next 2 minutes, I'm not going to ask any questions. What do you think of that?
I'll believe it when I see it. Thanks, Joe.
We can put you on mute, man. Put you on
You're
mute.
awesome, Joe.
You only
You're
got
awesome.
So that's it right now that I have for my chair report, and I'll turn it over to our VSO.
All right, hello, gentlemen. So as far as claims go in my office, anything that was started before COVID, or anything that was submitted as far as claims and things like that, are moving forward on an evidence-based situation, meaning that I've had guys get ratings without getting compensation and pension hearings. So that's a good thing, but a lot of things for like hearing and things like that, they're still not doing. VA is opening up in other states, but just not in Massachusetts or Rhode Island, unfortunately. So those, when they do open, they will be contacting those veterans for new appointments. Chapter 115, I got all my research done. Everything is great. As always, if you know of any Dartmouth veterans, especially during COVID, that may have lost their jobs or may have been ineligible otherwise, have them contact me. There's a good chance I can get them benefits for the next few months because of the lax kind of protocol that's going on, and they just have to fit into a certain criteria so they can really benefit from this. Also, I had a COVID plan that from the town that I'm going to be posting on the website, as well as I'm going to get a hold of Cindy at DCTV and put out a spot with that and kind of how things are going to be run in my office. Just an example, meaning I have an office of one now. So all my appointments, if they're done in town hall, are going to be done in room 305, which is a large room. They'll be at one end of the table. I'll be at the other. We'll be avoiding kind of close contact. Other things I'll post as well. And also June 25th is when they'll be putting something out as far as how we're going to proceed the next step. Meaning, I know on the door it says we're closed through the 28th. Tomorrow we will find out what happens on the 29th. So look on the website and DCTV and things like that. I don't have anything else. If there's any questions or anything like that.
Thank you
All right,
for your
anybody have
brevity.
any questions for Matt?
Say again, Norm?
Oh, I didn't say anything. That was
I just said thank you for your brevity.
And the individual that's going that wants to join as far as the VAB, I've met him. I've had several conversations with him. He was in over 20 years. I believe he's a colonel. So he's a good guy, and he really wants to help our veterans and everything. So I'm looking forward to you guys meeting. So other than that, I think that's it.
Great, thank you, Matt. Anybody have any questions for Matt?
I'd just like to make an announcement that the VFW usually has their commander's steak party in June or July. We pushed that out to September 20th for right now. And that'll be the steak party. You cook your own steak, and there'll be tickets available, about a month before that. The chicken dinner that the auxiliary puts on for the VFW is going to be in August, but I don't know the specifics of what time and what date, but usually it's towards the end of August. The Portuguese feast has been canceled for the first week of August, so it might be as early as the first week.
Joe, if you can get those dates over to me via email, I can get them on the website.
Yep, fine. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll move on to old business. I already touched upon a couple of the items. The only other item under old business is just an update on the Veterans Memorial Grove and any kind of landscaping, or I know the Council on Aging was doing some kind of repair or maintenance along the parking lot. I'm not sure if that ended up being completed or because of the pandemic. But Norm, do you have anything on the Memorial Grove?
Well, other than, like I said, I was up there last week, and it's in pretty good shape. It does need a little bit of attention. I think I don't know if we can power wash it or just maybe some mild detergent and a strong enough hose, but give the brickway a good cleaning.
You have any more bricks, Norman?
Excuse me?
You have any more bricks?
I think
Yep.
Matt has some.
Yeah, we've had 2 submissions. I've made sure I got them in for this fiscal year. We just won't mail them out until we have 3 more bricks.
How many do you have right now?
I have 2.
And you need what, 4 or 5 to get this?
5. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody have anything else under old business? All right. Hearing none, we'll get on to new business. And the main item under new business are our annual elections. And so up for elections would be the chair, the vice chair, the secretary, and the treasurer's role. In brief email conversation I had with Norm and Jim, they'd like to stay on in their respective roles as Norm as vice chair and Jim as secretary. If it's the pleasure of the board, I'd like to stay on as chair. And then and I think Joe may be limited on this anyway because of his duties as a federal employee, but I don't know if Peter wanted to take a stab at the treasurer's role. If not, for the time being, Norm could wear both hats as we add new members to the board and then kind of revisit it at our next meeting. So I'll put it out there to Joe or
Can I ask
Peter.
a question?
If you want to take a stab as treasurer.
I definitely do have the Hatch Act preventing me as the government worker to be involved in any financial aspects of even my own VFW.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, Joe. Peter?
I'll have to go see the treasurer so he can teach me how to read that thing. I try to read that thing and it's hello.
Well, that can be done, but I just want to make sure that you're like you would want to do it. You'd be okay with that. If you don't want to, that's okay.
I've tried it. I have no problem. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can we make a unanimous vote for everybody to be elected by casting one vote?
We can.
Well,
yeah.
I'll do that right now. Cast
Okay.
one vote for
Can
everybody.
I suggest something? If Peter is not sure that he wants to be treasurer, or if he wants to wait until we can find out if the new member wants to become an officer, we could table the treasurer portion until the next meeting, and then still do a blanket slate for the other three positions that I'm totally satisfied with.
I'll
Yes.
give it a stab.
You want to give it a shot, Peter?
I'll give it a stab, but I'm gonna need some help. So I'll go see the treasurer, make an appointment.
Yeah, that's fine. And if for some reason you you decide that you don't want to do it, we'll have
Okay.
we'll have someone else take
Can I make a
take the
motion
lead.
that we cast one vote for all officers for the pursuit the coming year?
Yeah, I'd like to second that.
Okay, and Joe, could you lay out each office and the person's name attached to each office?
The chairman of the VAB will be Chris Pereira. The vice chair will be Norman. The secretary will be Jim Tooley, and the treasurer will be Peter Fusco.
Thank you. Do we have any other nominations for any of the offices? Going once. Do we have any nominations for any of the offices? All right. So I will, we have a second, we have a motion and a second. And the motion on the table is to elect our next annual officers for each office, which are the chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. They being Chris Pereira for chair, Norm Gunderson for vice chair, secretary Jim Tooley, and for treasurer Peter Fusco. Do we have any discussion?
Nope, cast one ballot to be approved.
That's correct. That's the motion on the table. Do we have any discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, gentlemen. That was all the new business that I had, other than to say we did a great job in the first couple of months of the year, kind of brainstorming some events, activities, some ideas to get our word out, if you will, and encourage more veteran involvement and those kinds of activities. And so what I'd like to ask everybody to do is to keep those brainstorming ideas going and have them. And of course, I mean, you can send me, emails, during the summer where you don't meet and that kind of thing. You can always share them with me. But if you could have them for our next meeting in September would be great, because hopefully we'll have a better idea of kind of where we're at, and hopefully we're meeting in person, and all those things, and hopefully we can try to get back to more of a normal kind of atmosphere and environment. So I didn't really want to press those kinds of things at this meeting now, just because we're still in a very uncertain time. So that's where I have that request. If you folks could, think about that and bring that to the table at our next meeting.
I have, on our previous minutes, we had 2 events planned, and I don't know whether they're still considered on or not. One was that Norm, has helped us out with the Stop and Shop Day of Giving. We were settled for 7 November 2020 from 1,100 hours to 1,400 hours. Is that still something that Stop and Shop has us down for, Norm?
They still do, as far as I can tell. As of now, it'll go.
I couldn't hear you.
As of now, that's still on.
Yes, he said as of now that it's still going on.
Okay.
At the Stop and Shop in Dartmouth?
Yes.
Yes, on Fons Corner Road.
Okay.
And the other event we had listed was somebody was going to do something. It was the POW MIA ceremony for 18 September 2020 at the Veterans Memorial Grove. I'm not sure what that was or who was going to do that, but we had that listed.
Right, that's something that my office is going to try and take on. It's going to have to kind of stay small this year simply because of what's going on with COVID.
Right.
I know other towns kind of have it's kind of, they've been doing it for 9-10 years, and it's kind of a big event when they have, politicians and things like that come in. But I think first year we should probably, I want to just focus on getting, out there a little bit and, getting enough folks to volunteer for the 24 hours. And, like I said, it's still in the works, but, something taps, have the national anthem played, things like that. But as of right now, it's only in that stage.
And the other thing that was on our new business from last time we had, did Dartmouth Weekly do an article regarding you, Matt? Because we were supposed to have them do, or ask them to do an article on you as the PSO and the different things. Have they done?
Right, I had, Chris had sent me an email with 3 links. I had reached out to those corresponding links and hadn't heard anything back. And I'm not sure if that had to do with COVID or, the last 4 months have kind of melted together, So, like I said, I think working with DCTV right now, I feel, is the most effective way, given the current situation and, who we're really trying to reach at this point, So, I'm up for suggestions. That was my avenue of approach right now. So.
Yeah, and we can revisit
I got a
that too in the
question.
fall, and check that out. Go ahead, Peter.
I think if Jim sends a letter to Chronicle and the Weekly, so we can let our veterans know what the VSO does and what we do, that would help a lot. Because that's a weekly magazine, and the DTV does a wonderful job for us, and they can put it on their website also.
It's something to also take into consideration, maybe create a mailer. I can get that out in my office, something once every, like a quarterly mailer to the veterans. I have a list of all of them, so we can get them out to it.
We can put that letter in the Chronicle and the Dartmouth Weekly, because that goes to a lot of people, and there's veterans that probably receive that, doesn't even know that we're around or what we do.
I do a monthly newsletter with the Council on Aging, put out little things. Clearly haven't put anything out in a few months. And I have been in touch with Amy, and she says, oh, we're gonna be the last one to open. So when that comes around and it's safe, I'll be sure to get out there. It's something I really enjoy doing, and it's unfortunate that the smaller visits won't be happening in my office anymore. So.
And by the way, Chris Pereira asked me a few times by email when the VFW was going to open. Right now, I do not have any definitive information. It is all up to the governor and whether or not he defines phase 4 as something that includes the bars. Right now, we're in the phase 3 level, and bars are not included at all. They consider us a bar, even though we're kind of like a pub. We do have a common victual license for food, but we're planning to open up with tables in the hall that we usually rent, and nobody's sitting at the bar because we can't separate enough people or to make it worth it for the bartender. It's a little difficult for the bartender to stay 6 feet away when she's only about a couple of feet away when she's serving. So we have to look at all the logistics, and we also have to follow what the town of Dartmouth's health department dictates, along with the governor and what he defines as phase 4 as. As soon as I know a date that we're going to be opening, I will send it to the VSO so he can include that in his monthly newsletter. I'm sure there's a lot of veterans out there that would like to know when the VFW in Dartmouth's going to reopen.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
I think, Joe, I think you can have so many people in a diner, and you can also have drinks. Not at the bar, but you can have it at your table where you eat.
Right. We have both licenses. We have a license for the bar
Okay.
and liquor, and
So
we have a
you can
license
serve liquor
and we
in the
serve
other
food.
room.
Yeah, we have pizza and cohogs and all kinds of things, hot dogs. We do qualify under both categories. It's just that I don't know what the rules are going to be and what phase 4 is going to do, but it's the earliest we'll open is sometime in July.
Fire up that microwave.
Oh yeah.
Thanks,
You
Joe.
can have
Hopefully
liquor
on
in the other room as long as you got tables, as long as they don't sit at the bar.
Yeah, and we're allowed about 3 people on the roof. We're working on that too.
You can put them in the backyard too.
Airborne.
Seesaw.
Airborne, yeah. Only the Air Force gets on the roof.
Thanks, Joe. Anybody have anything else under new business?
No.
There's one thing that came across my mind, but this is long-term. This is a couple years away. And it has to do with Korean War veterans.
What?
The Korean War veterans.
Okay.
Okay, now, 2023 is the 75th anniversary. And I think if we can start planning, maybe the beginning of next year, to do something special for the whatever veterans of the Korean War are left alive. It'll be a one-time thing. It might be a nice for them.
Do you have any Korean veterans in Dartmouth?
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Yep. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
So what year was that? Did you say, Norman, 2023?
123 July.
25?
July of 2023.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. That'd be,
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Norm. And putting it on our radar now is a good idea too. Because as you know, it's called the Forgotten War, right? So it would be a good idea to commemorate it and recognize the Dartmouth Korean vets.
Yep.
Well, our VSO has been giving out some nice medals to Korean War veterans. So when I saw that, that's what made me think of it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Good
Thanks,
idea.
Norm.
we probably can get those, these, the ones that we usually buy, the medals, the coins. We probably can give them a coin at that day also. A commemorative coin or something like that. We can give it to them.
Well, like I said, that's 2 years away,
Right.
Over 2 years away. So it's
Good.
something to think
Thank you, Norm. Any other anything else under new business?
This November, I think, is when they officially open up the wall in Fall River, and it will be completed. And I think they're on schedule. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody else has heard anything new? But I think by November they'll be pretty well done, and they'll be ready for people to visit. And it's supposed to be a 3/4 scale wall, and it's north of the battleship.
Good. That's good to know. Hopefully they're able to stick on that schedule. Any other items under new business? No? All right, well, thank you, gentlemen. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting back to normal here in September. Our next meeting is September 16th at 1800 and hopefully at the town hall. And if for some reason not, it would be via this platform again. I will, of course, be in touch. This won't be the last time that we'll be chatting until then. I hope everybody has a great summer, a great Independence Day. And if there's anything that comes up, anything that anybody needs, feel free to reach out to myself. And if it's kind of veteran related regarding town vets or anything that would be more appropriate, like if Matt handles, obviously that's why he's there. So, feel free to reach out to him. But I want to thank all of you. I want to thank DCTV for a great meeting, and you guys enjoy the evening, and I will talk to you all soon. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I do have one little question.
I'm sure you do, Joe.
Matt, have you given us already, and maybe this is already in my email, not just the phone number at your office, but do you have a cell phone number you've already circulated to us in case we have to get a hold of you and you're not?
I have, yes, and that's my personal cell phone, so it should be staged for the board. I have approached town management about getting a cell phone for my office, and when that comes, then obviously it will be put out there. But yes, and you can get that from Chris.
Because it is useful in case I have somebody that needs to talk to you in a hurry, but the town hall's
Once
closed.
again, I get my messages from work on my cell phone, so if they call the office, it goes through to my cell phone.
Oh,
So
good.
what I've been doing is replying on my cell phone, but once again, that's at my discretion as far as, giving it out.
No, I understand. And also, Chris, if you want to start an email and get an updated list of everyone's either cell phone and or just home phone and their address and all of that, I'd like to get a recent copy by email of everyone, if I wanted to email everybody or email you.
Only if you get a cell phone, Joe.
Yeah.
So if we call you on your government phone, are we in trouble?
No, you can call me on my government
No, I'm
phone.
messing with you.
In fact,
Joe.
I
It's
can
okay.
give you both phone numbers right now if you want.
Yeah.
That's all right, Joe.
Good
Go
night.
through Chris. He'll give you my
Okay.
cell phone and reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll reach out to everybody, make sure we got updated contact info. Having said that, any other items? Everybody else good?
All good.
All right, great.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great night.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
bye
Chris.
now.